Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss the short answer questions of the Unit 3 Logic and Language of Block 2 of the paper Humanism and Logic of Srinarayana Guru Open University. So let's get started. First question, what is the significance of language in logic? Language is the primary medium through which thoughts and arguments are expressed and communicated. The validity and soundness of logical arguments heavily depend on the precise and unambiguous use of language. If language is used improperly or imprecisely, it can lead to fallacies, invalid conclusions, and breakdowns in logical reasoning. Logic as a discipline concerned with evaluating arguments and drawing valid inferences cannot ignore the critical role of language in shaping and articulating those arguments. The form and structure of language fundamentally impact how premises are stated and conclusions are drawn, making a clear and consistent use of language essential for logical analysis. Second question, how can incorrect use of language lead to fallacies? The incorrect use of language can lead to fallacies, which are errors in reasoning in several ways. Ambiguity, where a word or phrase has multiple meanings, can result in equivocation fallacies when the different meanings are conflicted. Vagueness, where the boundaries of a term's application are unclear, can lead to fallacies of amphibody or unwarranted assumptions. Imprecise language can also result in fallacies of composition or division, where properties of parts are incorrectly attributed to wholes or vice versa. Additionally, emotive or persuasive language can give rise to fallacies of appeal to emotion, where arguments are based on evoking feelings rather than logical reasoning. Third question, what are the different functions of language? Language serves several functions in human communication and expression. The informative function involves using language to convey factual information, describe reality, and make statements that can be evaluated as true or false. The expressive function allows individuals to express emotions, feelings, and subjective experiences through language. The directive function enables the use of language to command, request, or suggest actions from others. The ceremonial function encompasses the use of language for greetings, formalities, and social rituals. The performative function involves using language to perform specific acts such as making promises, declarations, or apologies. Fourth question, why is emotively neutral language important in logic? Emotively neutral language is essential in logic because it facilitates objective and impartial reasoning. Emotional appeal, persuasive language, and emotive expressions can introduce biases, subjectivity, and irrelevant considerations into the logical analysis of arguments. Logic is concerned with evaluating the validity and soundness of arguments based on reason, evidence, and the logical structure of premises and conclusions. Emotively charged language can obscure this logical structure and lead to fallacious reasoning based on emotional appeals rather than logical principles. By utilizing emotively neutral language, logical reasoning can proceed without the influence of subjective emotions, allowing for a clear and dispassionate examination of arguments. Fifth question, what is the difference between stipulative and lexical definitions? Stipulative and lexical definitions serve different purposes and have distinct characteristics. A stipulative definition is a proposed new meaning assigned to a term, often for convenience, secrecy, or economy of expression. It is neither true nor false, but rather a directive or instruction to use the term in the defined way. In contrast, a lexical definition reports the established and commonly accepted usage of a term. It aims to capture how the term is actually used by speakers of the language. Lexical definitions can be true or false depending on whether they accurately represent the term's conventional meaning. The key distinction is that stipulative definitions introduce new meanings while lexical definitions describe existing usages. Sixth question. What is the purpose of precising definitions? The purpose of precising definitions is to reduce vagueness and provide greater clarity and precision to the meaning of a term. Vagueness occurs when there are borderline cases or uncertainties about whether a term should be applied in certain situations. Precising definitions aim to overcome this vagueness by establishing more precise criteria or boundaries for the application of the term. Unlike stipulative definitions, which introduce entirely new meanings, precising definitions build upon a refine the established usage of the term to eliminate ambiguities and borderline cases. They strike a balance between respecting conventional usage and providing greater precision for logical reasoning or legal interpretations. Seventh question. What are theoretical definitions? Theoretical definitions are attempts to capture the essence or fundamental nature of a concept within the context of a particular theoretical framework or philosophical perspective. They aim to provide a comprehensive and theoretical grounded understanding of the objects or phenomena to which a term refers. Theoretical definitions often arise when there are disputes or disagreements among scholars, philosophers, or scientists regarding the meaning and application of a term. For example, debates about the theoretical definitions of concepts like justice, knowledge, or energy have occurred within different philosophical or scientific theories. These definitions seek to articulate the meaning of a term in a way that is consistent with the underlying theoretical assumptions and principles. Eighth question. What are persuasive definitions? The persuasive definitions are formulated with the primary intention of influencing attitudes, emotions, or beliefs rather than providing a neutral or objective definition. They frequently employ emotive language, loaded terms, or value judgments to sway the reader or listener towards a particular viewpoint or position. Persuasive definitions are commonly found in political discourse, advertising, and ideological debates where the goal is to shape public opinion or promote a specific agenda. Unlike other types of definitions that aim of clarity, precision, or theoretical grounding, persuasive definitions prioritize the persuasive impact of the definition over its objective accuracy and neutrality. Ninth question. How can definitions help eliminate ambiguities? Definitions can help eliminate ambiguities in several ways. First, by providing clear and precise meaning for terms, definitions reduce the potential for misinterpretation or multiple interpretations of the same word or phrase. Secondly, definitions can establish boundaries and criteria for the application of a term, resolving vagueness and uncertainties about borderline cases. Additionally, definitions can distinguish between different senses or usages of a term, preventing equivocation fallacies where different meanings are conflicted. Furthermore, Stipulative definitions can introduce new unambiguous terms to replace ambiguous or vague language. By establishing a shared understanding of key concepts and terms, definitions facilitate effective communication and logical reasoning by minimizing the potential for ambiguities which undermine arguments or conclusions. 10th question. Why is it important to distinguish between particular functions of language in logic? Distinguishing between different functions of language is crucial in logic because logic is primarily concerned with the informative function, which deals with statements that can be evaluated as true or false based on their correspondence to reality. Other functions of language, such as expressive, directive, ceremonial, and performative, do not have truth values and are not directly relevant to logical reasoning. Failing to separate these functions from the informative function can lead to fallacious arguments or invalid conclusions. For example, treating an expressive statement as an informative claim can result in a fallacy of appealing to emotion rather than reason. Similarly, confusing a direct statement with an informative one can lead to indirect evaluations of truth or falsity. By clearly delineating the informative function from other functions, logical analysis can focus on the statements and arguments that are amiable to logical evaluation and avoid potential fallacies or interpretations. So, these are the some short answer questions of the chapter Logic and Language. And in the next video, we will look at the paragraph questions of the same chapter. Thank you for listening.